This will be my first podcast.
Awesome. I've had quite a few firsts. People who never thought they'd be on a podcast, so I love it. The most common things I get is I'm boring, I have nothing to say, and then I get the I'm so nervous, and then we get into conversation, and before long, these people are just going to town. So hopefully I can make that a reality for you as well.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Welcome to Ordinary Joe's Extraordinary Stories, a podcast that shines a light on ordinary people and their extraordinary stories. From small towns to big cities, we're sharing the real, raw, and inspiring moments that connect us all. Because every voice matters. Every story counts. This is Ordinary Joe's Extraordinary Stories. Welcome back, Joes. You know what it is. It's another episode of Ordinary Joe's Extraordinary Stories, and today we've got another special guest in the house. This man I just met. I have no prior knowledge of this guy other than we attended a Christmas event together recently.
Yes.
So it's Bryan Beck.
Yes.
Please welcome Bryan Beck to the show. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you for having me. It's
now,
awesome.
What I do know about you is that you're an author.
Yes, I am kind of a Renaissance man, actually. Author is only really one of my focuses.
Oh, that's great. We're going to get into all of that. So let's okay, so let's real quick get into this fancy attire that you're wearing. I am sitting here looking like a slob because I didn't know we were getting that fancy, but
I can't help it. I do it every day at work. I work at a bank. I'm a branch manager. I've been in banking for like 10 years, and the entire time I've worn suits, three-piece suits, and I go all out with decorations and everything just like this.
It's really cool.
I like changing it up every day. I don't know. It's like my creative expression in a business atmosphere.
That's perfect.
And honestly, beforehand, I've always been a swing dancer, and so I like going and doing swing dancing. It's actually I've taken Beck out to go do swing dancing, and
oh, dude, that's cool.
it's awesome. And honestly, it's really fun to do it in full attire as well.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
have my hat. You got to have the whole thing. And so it was something that was easily for me to transition into banking. And then when you offered me a podcast opportunity, I'm like, well, I got to be myself, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up? Where are you from?
Well, I was born in Las Cruces, but both my
Oh, no
parents
kidding.
and both my parents were military, so we've moved all over the country.
Oh, wow.
I've been to something like, 40 states. I've lived in like 15 or
Nice.
so. I've actually lived in 40 different homes, had 40 different jobs, or no, 50 different jobs. I don't know, something like that.
Holy shit, dude.
I'm a very,
You sound very versatile.
yes, I'm always changing my mind on what do I want to do with my life.
There's
Always,
nothing
what
wrong
do I
with
want to
that.
do right now, not necessarily for the rest of my life.
I live that life. That's how I ended up podcasting. So, just I encourage that.
Yeah.
The
Totally.
more you know, the more you do, it all is relevant. So that's great.
Exactly.
Let's talk a little bit for a moment. Oh, so Las Cruces.
Yeah.
How did you end up here?
Well, in high school, actually, freshman year of high school, my parents, we had moved to Colorado at one point for them to pursue college, and my mom and my stepdad, and they moved back here because both of their sets of my grandparents, their parents, were living here in Albuquerque.
Okay.
So they just kind of moved here and stayed here.
Okay.
Now, as of like 5 or 10 years ago, they've moved away.
Okay.
So now I'm considering possibly moving away as well. But I've actually been here almost since then. There was a period, second half of my high school career, I actually went to live with my dad in Arkansas. And then I came back here after that because I had a lot of friends and family here. And so
Oh, cool.
it kind of
Okay.
felt like my real home.
Sure.
I had never really stayed anywhere more than like a couple of years. And so here felt like the only place that I had that kind of solid ground. And then when I came back, I didn't want to leave. Plus, I love green chili. I love the culture. I love the
Who
climate.
the
I love
fuck
mountains.
doesn't love green chili?
That's what I'm saying.
That's great. Are you partial to the area locally, or are you a New Mexico explorer? You just like all of it?
I love all of New Mexico. I'm definitely a New Mexico explorer. I
That's
could live in
fantastic.
any part of New Mexico and be happy, so long as it's somewhere in these four walls.
Oh, that's great. I love it. I have a history of a lot of negativity with New Mexico on the podcast. I talk down about a lot of areas, but as a state in general, I love it too. I wouldn't leave. And I love where we live. I love Rio Rancho. I love Albuquerque greater area. It's fantastic. There's the whole stigma about the Breaking Bad and the crime and whatnot. But
But
I
we
think
also have Stranger Things.
there you go. Well, and all of this is relevant to the amount of people that are here. You know, you
Yeah,
take the amount of people in another state or a larger city and put them here, the crime rate is abysmal. It doesn't exist. It's
exactly.
all relevant to the amount of people. So
Exactly.
there's something to be said about that. Okay, so you said you've had quite an extensive amount of jobs. I'll quote Wayne from Wayne's World. I have an extensive amount of name tags.
Yes, yes, I
Tell
definitely do.
tell me
I don't know
about.
that I still have all of them, but I've had a lot of
Okay, so
them.
tell me about some of your favorites. What jobs have you done that
uh,
you've enjoyed?
well, I did like 17 years in food service. I worked everything from dish pit, serving, bartending, general management. I did it, cook. I did it all.
Like chain restaurants?
Chain restaurants,
I did my
family
fair
owned,
share.
five star, fast food. I did it all.
Wow. Okay.
And I just got tired of honestly not having flexibility in the hours and not having paid
Yeah.
vacation and not having any
Yeah.
benefits. And so I was like, well, I need to go back to school. Went back to school and went to business administration, and then I started in banking. And honestly, I never looked back. I don't know why I didn't start in banking sooner. It's a great field. I learned a lot about finances that ended up helping my own life.
Wow.
Lifting myself up while I'm lifting the customers up.
Oh, that's
And it's
great.
something where I feel like I'm constantly doing good by my customers. I'm helping them, and it does feel like an ethical good to the world, which is pretty awesome to me. Even though honestly, when I think about the bank as a whole, I kind of hate it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't not hate it if you are a human.
But at the same time, it gives a lot of means to an end, and these days there's a lot of need. So
Okay, so where did you go to college at?
went to college CNM.
CNM.
Yes, I
And
started actually when it was TCC or not TCC, TVI, Technical
oh, okay, yeah,
Vocational
yeah.
Institute. But that was back when I was pursuing, actually, that was back when I was first pursuing engineering. I went for engineering, and then I switched over to art, and then I switched over to film.
Oh, no
I actually
shit.
graduated from film, and then I went
Wow.
back for more art, and then I went back for creative writing, and then I went back for my business degree, and that's when I actually graduated with my business degree.
Holy shit. So, how many actual degrees do you have, or certificates for that matter?
I have like 5 certificates and 1 degree.
Holy shit, dude, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I have one for film. I have one for bartending. I have one for general art. I have one for general business, and then I have a business administration. I think I only have no. I do have a office administration certificate as well, and then I have my associates in business.
Fucking, that's wild. So,
I keep telling myself I need to go back and get my bachelor's. Is what I need to
I mean,
do.
I would say that you have enough schooling in under your belt, but I mean, to each their own.
You
Whatever
know,
works for you.
I tell myself honestly what keeps me from going back is that I have more credits than what is required for a bachelor's degree, but because they're in all different areas, they don't count.
Ah, that
I'm like,
sucks.
well, I have the knowledge. It's just not necessarily what they count.
It's not collaborated.
Yeah,
So tell me about banking. How did you start where you're at, and what kept you there?
good question. Actually, I was working in the restaurant. I had just honestly, I had a terrible week. It was a lot of overtime, and I walked into the bank one day to cash my check, and I was just kind of like complaining about it and just telling the teller, and the teller's like, "Well, have you thought about working at the bank? We're always
No
hiring."
shit.
Like a lot of people in food service switch over to the bank, and I was like, "Wait, really?" And they're like, "Yeah, all you need is customer service and cash handling. Can you talk to people? Can you count money?" I'm like, "Well, yeah,
Wow.
that's half the job, right?" Like anywhere you work as a cashier or anywhere you work in customer service, whether it be in retail or in food service, you're dealing with money and you're dealing with people.
Sure.
And as long as you have that experience, now you can work in the bank.
That's
And so I got my foot in the bank, part-time teller. I mean, and honestly, I took a pay cut to do it, but I was like, gosh, this is making me so much happier. This
hold
is
on. You took a pay
amazing.
cut from waiting? Oh, well, from
No, I was actually a general manager at
oh,
Blake
okay,
Slaughterburger at the time, and
okay, okay,
and it
okay,
was it was it was decent. Don't get me wrong, but I was also working like 120 hours a week, and so it was just too much.
bro.
And so I stepped down from that. And towards the end, I was doing like 60 hours a week, but it was still too much. I'm like, I need something more regular. I need something where I'm actually going to make money and actually has kind of potential to grow. Restaurants, it seems it was a kind of I was capped really, unless
Yeah,
I wanted to spend
yeah,
another five
yeah.
or 10 years and wait for district manager because I was general manager at that point. It just didn't feel like I was going to get there at the speed that I wanted to, I guess. I don't know. I was tired of working with the customers, having shakes thrown at me, yelling at people, like people yelling at me, people begging for free food constantly because they just don't want to pay for it. But then they say, oh, it's in the wrong order, but they ate the entire thing.
Right, right, right. Well, there's something to be said for living life. As humans, I feel like we weren't made to work all the fucking time, but that's what life is turning into. It's like
Yeah.
you come to your job. because you want to prove that you can do it well, you want to thrive in this industry, and you want to move up in the world, but that requires more of your time, which gives you less time at home, and
Right.
then you have all these aspirations to do this stuff at home for yourself or travel for that matter, and you can't do any of that because you're always at work.
Right.
And then it's highly frowned upon these days to call in or take time off. And so many employers. I'm fortunate that I don't have one, but there are. My brother's a good example. His employer gets furious that they have to give holidays off, or that people have time accumulated that they can take off. He gets fucking pissed.
Right. Well,
Like
my prior employer, the same kind of thing. I was having that kind of treatment from the management. I'm not going to say any names or anything, but prior employers that I just didn't vibe well with. And if I, called in, then I was punished for it. It's like, come on, like
absolutely
that's why it's there. Like
right,
if I'm having an
right,
emergency, I should be able to take care of business
hundred
and then
percent.
go back to work and not be punished. But it is what it is. And now honestly, I'm much happier where I'm at.
That's great.
I've worked up to branch management, and every step of the way, what I've loved the most is, I guess, my ability to connect with customers. I've done a lot of customer service. I've been in every position from, I mean, when I was a kid, there was periods where we were homeless, and there was periods where we lived in a KOA, and there was periods where we lived in our car, and so it's like I've been through the destitute, but then I've also worked and built myself up to now I'm a owner, and I have my own car, and everything's going great. I got a 401k, everything's lovely, and now I'm pursuing creative interests and not needing them to support me, which is also awesome.
That's fucking so good.
15 years ago, I wish you can go back and tell myself, dude, don't worry. You don't have to do art as your main thing, and you can still find a way to still do it, like as a passion, And I don't know.
Dude, dude, that's fucking wild. Now you just said something that I would like to hear more if you're open to speaking on it, but
Totally.
tell me about your times of homelessness. How did homelessness and KOAs, like how,
uh,
and I
so
will, there's a relation that we have here. I just want to hear your side real quick and then
totally.
I'll tell you.
Well, I mean, my parents weren't necessarily always good at paying the bills, and there were periods where they were in the army, and we moved due to that. But then there were also periods when they were not in the army, and they were pursuing other things, and they weren't necessarily taking care of the financial obligations as they should have.
Wow.
A lot of my life lessons I learned as a child, and really what not to do. And so
Wow.
it caused me to steer away from a lot of the darkness in life because of that. It also really caused me to see more of the bright side of things because I've seen the darkest. And I do think that honestly, it builds a lot of character, but it also shouldn't happen to anybody. Nobody should be in that position. These days, there's more and more homeless, and it
Oh
sucks to be in
God.
that position. But it's also one of those things that there's such a split opinion about. I mean, some people put themselves there, some people are begging to get out of it, and it's impossible almost once you get into it to get out of it. There are the resources, and I think the biggest difference is if you're willing to be clean and seek those resources out
Yeah,
in order
yeah,
to get
yeah.
out of homelessness.
Yeah,
That's really
yeah.
what I've seen personally. But I've seen a lot of people kind of get robbed and put into positions where really, honestly, society's kind of failed them, and they should be kind of taken care of a little bit more.
Let's call it what it is. Veterans are one of those groups of
Hugely
people who
PTSD and people that honestly back in pre the 60s, pre pharmaceutical era, they would have been in an assisted living home. Now, granted, those centers were not good. Hopefully,
right.
over time, we could have
But
done
it was
something
an
better than
option where
that.
you're not sleeping on a street.
You're not sleeping on a street. You're getting meals. You're
Right.
getting psychiatric evaluations and all these kinds of things. Now, granted, there's also things like ice picks going up the brain and all this.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
don't get me wrong, that was a bad era in medicine
Of
too. But
course, of course.
pharmaceuticals not the answer to everything. I feel like we need kind of a medium where it's like, okay,
Right.
so maybe pharmaceuticals not going to fix this person, so now they're going to be homeless. Well, let's not make them be homeless. Let's take care of that person. Find a place. I mean, there's got to be some function in society that they can have, even if it's as silly as going through the trash at the dump, whatever it is. Like,
Well, you look at the amount of houses on the market at any given time, or even abandoned houses for that matter. It's in the 17, 20 millions or something like that. And then you look at the homeless population and it's somewhere abysmal, like 5 million people.
yes, there's more homes on the market empty because it's more value in investment properties
Right.
than there are homeless right now.
You could put those homeless in homes and there'd still be homes available.
Yes.
It's
But there'd be a
fucking
lot of billionaires that would lose a lot of money.
right, which we can't let happen.
No, of course not.
Um, I only wanted you to touch on that because as a kid, my parents were good about paying the bills. I'll say my dad never had a stable job. He was a horse trainer. It was not, he made up for it in the off season by doing construction and things like that. My mom didn't really work until we were older, so we didn't have income on her end either. But we didn't need a whole lot. We lived in a small town up north. We had our house paid off. It was just, it was life. It was what it
Right.
was. Well, our house burnt down when I was in first grade or second grade or something like that.
Right, right.
There was 6 of us at this time. We moved into a single room camper.
Yeah,
And we lived in that camper for fucking years, man. It was like three,
totally.
4 years after that because that's what we had to do, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And credit to my parents where credit's due. They both worked to keep a stable home, to keep us fed, to eventually upgrade our single room camper to a multi room camper, and eventually to a trailer. You know, so
Right.
they worked it the best they could. But yeah, I've been through those tough times, and it's wild to think. I don't know, myself. I think back on those times, and I don't remember it being an embarrassment. I don't remember it being. It was just normal. Like, yeah, some people
Right.
lived in houses. I live in a camper.
Yeah.
It was
Honestly, as a kid, I never thought anything of it. I
right,
was picked on for always being like the new kid, for always being like the dirty poor kid. I didn't get new clothes a lot of the times, that kind of
right,
stuff.
right,
And
right.
I thought it was because there was something wrong with me, not necessarily my
Oh
situation.
fuck, that's
And so I took
wild.
it super internally. I got really depressed for a long time. And then after
Oh
that, I had to kind of
fuck.
have this big flip where I had to like see the silver lining instead. That actually changed my life. But that was like later teens that happened. And so throughout my teens, like I really had a hard time with that, really connecting with people at school and trying to understand why I was so different. Now, I mean, I've actually been officially
Fuck.
diagnosed with autism and PTSD and ADHD and all these different,
All the D's.
all the disorders. And so at this point, I understand myself better. But as a kid, I had no idea. I'm like, what? I'm just like you. What?
That is
Why
absolutely
am I getting
wild.
picked on anyway? And so I didn't know that my life was different until I was an adult. And I had
Right.
like adult friends, and we're just talking about our childhoods. And they're like, "Oh yeah, man, we never moved, and I've maybe there's a divorce, but everything was solid, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
went through the same school
Dude,
systems,
that
and
is
like
fucking
I
crazy.
never had to worry about where my next meal was coming from. I never had to worry about wearing the same clothes for a week in a row. Like, it's like things that you as a kid, you're just like, "Oh, that's normal.
Uh,
Everybody does that.
that's fucking wild.
Doesn't everybody love the free lunch at school? That's awesome." And then the other students in class are like, "Ew, he's doing the
You
free
ate the free
lunch?
lunch? Gross.
Oh," and I'm like, "This is so cool. Can I have more?"
Right, you gonna eat that?
I'm like,
Like,
"Hey, I'll take yours."
that's fucking wild. I never
Yeah.
thought of it as a kid either. And the way I looked at it when I was being picked on was, hey, these fuckers are bullies. That's all it is. They're just bullies.
I
Like I
took it
never.
so internally, like
That's
I totally blame
crazy.
myself. But I think part of that was because I was being abused at home too, and a distant family and all this kind of stuff. Everywhere we went, landlords, all kinds of stuff like that happened. And so I've had like every type of abuse, and that's what's caused my disorders.
Oh,
And so
well,
my reaction to that was school was an escape for me, and I didn't even care that kids were bullying me because the teachers were nice. I just had to do my homework, and the teachers loved me. And so there was that one light in my life that I'm like, cool. As long as I just do my homework, I've got somebody that likes me. And so that was really what carried me through my childhood.
are you talking about like physical abuse, emotional abuse?
Every type: physical, emotional, sexual, financial. I mean, just about every type, except for I was not forced to do drugs.
Holy shit. Now, was this like immediate family or
I
like
mean, I'm not going to say names. It's a part of my childhood and everything. I don't know how far this thing will go or whatever. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. It's just a part of life. But it's one of those things that built who I am now. And I have a deeper
well,
appreciation for, I guess, the light compared to the dark. And one of my mantras now is to be the light in the darkness, because we've all seen our own shared shade of darkness.
well, yeah, and I only ask because I know several people who have experienced sexual abuse as a child, and 9 times out of 10 it's from within the house, and nobody's trying to call anybody out. I
I will
just I'm,
say
I'm more
I
fascinated
will
with.
say it was not my direct family.
Okay, that.
Luckily, that did not happen to me. It was extended family.
Well,
It was people I was around for short periods of time, and then
fuck, that's
luckily it didn't
crazy.
continue beyond that.
Well, that's great.
But it's definitely, I mean, granted, we were never in one place for long, so that was always kind of the bright side, is this situational change.
Jesus. Well, and I only it's weird how different people like now did you ever say anything? Did your family ever find out about it, or was it just
Honestly,
something
it's
again you
only been
internalized?
no, I totally internalized it, and it's something I didn't even realize until I was an adult, and I started doing kind of deep diving into my blocked memories, because my earliest years, this is all stuff that happened like pre-10, like single digits,
Jesus.
and during that time, I don't have that many memories. And so I had to do a lot of like regression therapy where I'm trying to like recover what I remember from my childhood. And then that's when
Fuck.
some darker memories started surfacing, and some of them came out in dreams. Some of them came out in like triggers, like things happened in my life. And I'm like suddenly thinking about this thing that happened. I'm like, whoa, how did I forget that? Like, how do you forget trauma? I mean, you're protecting yourself.
Again, yeah, I was gonna say, is it because that the trauma was so fucking intense that
Well,
you
and what's
blocked it
crazy
out?
about it is right now, I can't really say that I physically remember the actual sexual abuse. I remember all the circumstances around it. I remember all the parent reactions around it. I remember the stories around it, and I know what happened as a result of it. And when you connect the dots, you go, "Oh, that was actual sexual abuse." And it's not something that anybody has any evidence of, but
But you
it's
don't recall it, which is probably a good thing.
well, and on the that's definitely a good thing, but it's also one of those things that I'm like, well, I wish I could know, like, was I able to fight or stand up for myself in some way, or and that might give me
Oh,
some kind of peace of
geez,
mind,
that's
but
fucking
or
intense.
was I just like a victim and just let it happen, like ah. But as a 4-year-old, what would you do? As a 6-year-old or 8-year-old, like what would you do? Like
Yeah, there's not much you you don't really have a choice. You don't even know what's happening.
full grown adults. I mean, it's supposed to be family or friends of the family and people you're supposed to be able to trust.
Well, and I know that because I've experienced people telling me about their traumas with sexual abuse, and the family would normalize it. Like, no, 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 it's okay. It happened to me too, or it's okay. It's been happening for generations. So it's something you just have
No,
to
don't
deal
say
with.
that because you'll ruin their lives or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
it is.
Fuck that.
Exactly. And
Ruin the fuck
no,
out of their
no, say
lives.
it because it's one of those things that has to happen, and eventually the shadow always comes to the light. And I mean, I've been my own perpetrator of darkness and been a monster in my own way, and that's one of those things that caused me to want to turn around and see the light because I didn't want to be a monster in my life.
Sure.
It's actually one of the biggest themes in my writing is trying to write who people think are monsters that are actually not on a monstrous path. They're actually on a path of redemption
Well,
or
we'll get to
that kind
that.
of thing,
We'll
and so
get to
that's
that.
actually deep in my heart there.
That's really interesting. Um, I did want to touch on your experience with all the customer service because I worked for Target, I worked for Walmart, I worked at pizza joints, I worked at I had my extensive
Right.
careers when I was a kid as well, and I did my time in the service industry as well. I was a waiter for um, Red Lobster, which I really enjoyed,
Yeah.
and then I was a waiter at Applebee's, which I really did not enjoy.
I was a waiter at Applebee's. I was a waiter not at Red Lobster, but at Olive Garden, another Darden restaurant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Applebee's was my final straw. I decided then and there I was never going to be in the service industry. And towards the end of my career, man, I was, people would walk in, they'd be like, "You got sat two tables." And I would just turn to another waiter, "Hey, you want two tables?" Like,
Right.
I absolutely didn't want to do that shit. And one day I was like, "What am I doing?" And I just fucking left.
Yeah.
Never to look back. I didn't have a plan. I didn't care what the plan was going to be. I just didn't want to do that shit
I can do
anymore.
that. I feel you.
People are awful.
Yeah. No, it can be difficult, especially my worst memory that I always fall back on from food service was actually a financial pain for me. I used to work at TGI Fridays. I used to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday doubles. I would work like 40-ish hours
Oh,
during that time.
fuck.
And then and I did that at a lot of places because I
Dude,
would do
that's
like one job during the
crazy.
first part of the week and I would do another job during the second part. Or I would do a job during the mornings and I would do a job in the evenings. I was always working like 80 hours a week. And so when I went into general management, they asked me to do 100. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. It's fine. It's not that much more.
Jesus.
But when I was at TGI Fridays, there was a specific Saturday that I was there from like open to close. At the time, I think it was like 9 o'clock to show up to get ready to open. They opened at 10. It might have been 8 and then 9, something like that. And then we were open until the bars closed at 2 in the morning
Holy shit.
because it was the only restaurant. It was up at the Cottonwood Mall over here. And so all the other restaurants would close down. They would send all of their servers and everybody. They wanted to go to Fridays to have their after work drinks. So
Fuck.
11 o'clock to 2 o'clock, it was popping. Anyway, so it was busy. And I loved being there for both, the lunch rush, the dinner rush, and that after bar rush. Like it
Sure.
was great, good money.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so I got into the habit of doing that. I got into the habit of like, oh, it's fine, day by day finances. And I got into a position where I had two walkouts on the same shift.
Oh my
And TGI
god.
Fridays had this policy where we'll forgive one. Your first walkout, we're going to forgive. We understand an error. After that, it's your obligation to pay it back.
Wow.
You got to be keeping an eye on your tables. I wasn't paying attention. It was busy. It was crazy. I had like two six tops walk out. It was like $200 that I was
Oh my
negative
god.
because of that. I was supposed to make, I think it was like, I ended up, I don't remember the exact amounts. It was something like that. And I remember I walked away without money.
Oh yeah.
Like I had money in my pocket walking into work and I walked away without money. Like they forgave a little bit of the balance.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, wait, I just worked a 12-hour shift and I didn't get paid? Like I paid to do that? Like what? And at that point, I ended up quitting that job, and I was like, I'm not doing serving again.
That's so
That's when I went
wild.
into like trying to be a cook or like trying to get an hourly job in the restaurant where I'm like,
Right.
cool, I want a guaranteed check. And then it
Yes.
was still like dealing with the customers and still dealing with bad situations.
Yeah.
Working in the back office, I didn't mind because there's usually a party in the back, great time, work hard, you're
Yeah.
fine. But it's hot temperatures. You're dealing with 100 degrees, 120 standing above that stove.
Yep.
It's not a good time. But after that, I was just like, I need to get out of food. I worked in management. I was back in front of the customers. I'm like, I need to get out of food. It's just the food thing. It's got to be the food thing. And
That's
I'd
fucking
done a lot of
wild.
other things. Like as a younger person, I was a plumbing apprentice. I did masonry. I built fences. I sandblasted porches at one point. I did a lot of like physical labor things too. And so I've worked in the summer. I've dug trenches. I've done things that like make me appreciate working inside.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was like, cool, restaurants are fine because at least I'm not out there. Here in New Mexico, out there sucks.
That's fair.
But granted, I mean, maybe I should have gone the construction route. They make great money, like no shame on that. But it's also you're working in the sun. And I was like, well, early on, I don't want to work in the sun. And so that's why I kind of chose the restaurant kind of long term. And I was like, well, I still have restaurant experience. Where else am I going to go?
Dude,
I'll
that's
just keep working in the restaurants. And so here I was like 30 and I'm like working in a restaurant. I'm like, God, this sucks. Like I can't keep doing this. Or I might have been 31. I don't know. And so at that point, I was actually going to school and working part time. I think I was at the movie theater popcorn kiosk. So I was just serving concessions and 16-year-old job, not a 30-year-old dude's job. Like what the heck? Anyway,
that's
so
really wild that you say all that. I have comments for all of that. So when I was working at Applebee's, I was doing a double one day, and it was, I think it was like a Saturday, and we had a church there in Santa Fe who would always come in after their Saturday evening service or whatever,
right,
and they'd bring 10 to 20 people in,
totally. Sunday
do the
afternoon
whole
rush.
fucking
Yep.
dinner thing, and then they'd go, and they were never good tippers. Okay.
Usually individual tickets and usually no more than like 10 to 20%.
Yeah. Oh, definitely,
You know.
definitely. It was generally just the change on the dollar.
A lot of times because a lot of them were like, okay, I want the coffee and I'll eat the free chips and salsa that are coming to the table.
Right. Things like that. And then, they'd pay you, it'd be a $3 bill,
Yep,
3.20, and they'd leave you 80 cents.
exactly.
So the cumulative money that you'd walk away with was a couple bucks.
Yeah,
Okay, whatever. At
yeah.
least you're in the profit. Well, they started coming in, and one of the people stopped paying every fucking time.
Oh my gosh.
And so every time I was having to pay out 20, 40, $60 at the end of them leaving.
What?
Yeah, and I kept complaining, and nobody else would take them because everybody else knew what they were doing.
Oh
And
my
Applebee's
gosh.
doesn't forgive a walkout. If
Yeah,
somebody leaves, it's on you. It doesn't
yeah,
matter who it is or how
yeah.
big the check is or how small it is. It's
Right.
on you.
Yeah,
So I started losing massive amounts of money, and I think that was the beginning of my decline.
yeah.
But also, I started talking to people I was go to high school with, and this is not to disparage anybody in the service industry, because you
Right.
you got to be a tough fucking person to stick that out.
Yeah.
But I started talking to people who I was going to high school with, and or had graduated with, and they had gone through college, and they're starting their careers, and I'm
Right.
like, fuck, I'm sitting here in a restaurant industry,
Did you
like this
have a
is
moment? I had a couple of them. Did you have a moment where you were serving one of your former friends that were like
no, no, no,
living
no,
it up?
like waiting.
They were in a new career. I had one that went and they got their like master's degree and they came back. They were an engineer and I was a server. I think I was at Applebee's actually, and they came and sat down and I was just like,
No, that would have.
holy
I
cow!
would
And
have.
what was funny? Have you seen the movie Waiting?
Yes, that's exactly what I was
It
thinking
was
of.
like straight out of that movie, and
No,
I'm like, oh my
that would
god,
have
I can't believe this just happened to me.
that would have fucking embarrassed me to no end.
I think I was like 26 though,
But
and I
I
still stayed in the industry for 4 more years.
That's wild, because I think that was something that really pushed me. I was
Yeah,
thinking, I saw that movie, and I was like, I don't want that to happen.
yeah,
I would fucking be decimated if that happened to me.
right.
And so then I switched careers, got out of that, which is cool and everything. And then I was like, all right, well, until I can find something that's actually a career I can brag about, I'm gonna go get whatever. So I moved
Right.
into the automotive industry, and I started
There you
working
go.
for like Pet Boys and stuff like that. Okay,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least I'm learning a skill,
A
a
trade.
trade
Yeah.
in the process. And I remember at Pet Boys, I went to a class that they had sent upper management to, and I was sitting there in the class. And mind you, back then I had my eyebrow pierced, I had a tongue piercing, and I was just, and I was, I don't know, mid 30s, early 30s.
Right.
And in this class, there was a manager of another store who was an older gay man. He was a really sweet dude, but he had his eyebrow pierced, he had
Right.
his tongue pierced,
Right.
and he was just a lifer in this position. And I was looking at him and I was like, I don't want to be that when I'm that
I
age.
don't want that to be my mirror.
I don't want to be 60 years old, fucking pierced up and unprofessional at a fucking Pep Boys training class.
Right.
And so then I decided to get out of that. And so, little by little I grew myself out of all of those jobs. And I
Right.
think it was sheer embarrassment, which is really sad to say because I don't want to disparage anybody in those fields,
Totally.
but also like for me personally, I wanted a career that I could brag about. When my friends asked me
Right.
what I did, I wanted to say, "Oh, I do this," and it's cool.
You wanted to feel proud of it,
I did want to feel proud of it, and
Yes.
I was ashamed of most of the careers I did in my life.
Well, I don't think it's at all a bad thing to feel pride about what you do. And I think that's something a lot of people are looking for. They're looking for something they can feel proud of. And if they have to put a lot of work into it, I mean, maybe they're harder workers than the rest of us, or maybe they want to find
Sure.
something that's more like less work, but they still feel good. That pride in
Yeah,
what they
well, yeah,
do.
and
I mean, but I mean, there are people out there too that work in fast food. I've worked with plenty of them. I'm sure you have that literally just take pride in everything they do.
that's great.
And
Listen,
I just can't do that.
yeah, I'm not disparaging
I
that at
don't
all
know.
because I think it's admirable that you can be in that career that like would for myself be embarrassing, but you love it and you're good at it. I don't feel embarrassment for them. I
No,
think it's
it's pretty
admirable.
awesome,
I love
actually.
it.
It is.
But
It's something I wish that I could find for myself with less difficulty. I hold myself to such a crazy. Okay, so every day I can't just like stay idle at home. I go to work for 8 hours and then I come home and I put in like 8 hours into whatever creative pursuit I'm doing.
you're a wild man.
And then I might sleep for 68 hours and then I repeat the cycle.
Sure.
And so
Well,
I've been doing that for like decades now. And it's just, what is my next creative pursuit? But I don't
I
know.
I eventually moved into a career that now to my own disparagement, I moved into a career that some people would be like, yeah, that's also not something you can brag about. That's not a big old fancy career or anything. I was building police cars.
Okay.
It's not a high paying job. It's not super
Civil
desirable,
service, that's not a bad thing.
but to me, I fucking loved it. I
Yeah,
loved being there. I
that's
loved
awesome.
showing pride in what I built.
Well, and that's something that's sought after.
And so
That enjoyment, that's
yes,
huge.
yes, yes. And so I lost that feeling of embarrassment about not having a high paid or like highly sought after career.
Right.
I was like, this is it. This is what people like go finding careers for. And I
Exactly.
was happy for it. And now let's call it what it is. I'm no longer with that company, though I'd go back in a heartbeat if I didn't, if that was all I could get or whatever. But
Right. Right.
um I I only left for a higher paying a job,
Totally. Yeah.
something, and I'm okay with my job now too. It's not a job that I'd go around bragging about. It's not real fancy,
Yeah.
but it pays the bills.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I'm okay with it. I like it. I have good coworkers. It's a good job. So,
Well, and that's
there's
good to say. I mean, good coworkers making good
yes,
money. I mean,
yeah. So
that's two huge pillars of having happiness in your life.
right. And so yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. Now, if somebody finds that kind of joy and pride in their career at Lottaburger, fuck, I'm all for it, and I will
More
support
power to
that.
them. Yes.
Absolutely,
Yes.
as long
And
as
I'll
you're
go and I'll
happy.
buy that burger and I'll enjoy it. And if they've got that big old smile on their face, I'm going to appreciate the heck out of
Yeah, absolutely,
that.
100% more.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so let's move into your creative side.
Okay.
When did you start realizing that this is the artistic side is something that you wanted to do?
I grew up with it. My mom is an artist. My dad is a writer.
No kidding.
My stepdad came into the picture when I was, well, I mean, technically he was always in the picture. He was my uncle's best friend. He was 13 when I was born. And my mom was 16 and my dad was 18. So they were all very young. And so the four of them really, my mom, my uncle, and my dad, and my uncle's best friend, were really heavily involved throughout a lot of my childhood. And when I turned 10, my mom divorced my dad and started dating my uncle's best friend. Now, my
Hold on.
uncle's best friend is a musician. So I have art, I have music, and I have writing as the three
Wow,
pillars of my like
that is
parental
fucking
figures.
cool. That is really fucking cool. But backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
How old did you say your parents were when you were born?
When I was born, my mom was 16, my dad was 18.
Wow, so young parents. Mine are all equally as young. How old are you now?
I am now, gosh, 39, going to be 40 in March.
Okay, that's interesting. So our parents are very, very, very close in age.
Yeah.
What was it like for you growing up with such young parents? Because I know for me, people would talk about their parents in school, and they were talking about these people who were geriatric, who were my grandparents' age, and I'm like,
Yes.
that's your mom? Like, why is your mom
But then
so
their
old?
life was nice and solid and everything was great. Like,
I couldn't
honestly, I
fucking
love like
understand why their parents were so old. I was like, well, what? Why are my parents not
whereas my
old?
stepdad's out there playing football with us. Like,
That's fucking was it, so it was equally as weird for you.
I mean, yeah, a little bit. Honestly, my friends always were like, "Oh, your parents are so cool."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, maybe not cool, but yeah, they're like, why is your parents so young? I'm not a fucking no, dude. Like, why are you so old? This is weird. Like,
It's bizarre. Yeah.
you
Honestly,
know,
and that's what where I'm at now with being 40 and I don't have kids. I'm like, I think I don't want to have kids.
same,
I'm at this point. I've got nephews. I love my nephews. I have
same,
plenty of other children that I've seen in my life. I've had the
right?
childlike experiences. Granted, I haven't had that full responsibility of 20 years plus,
Which is
but
better.
yeah, and I get to save my money and spoil my nephews more. So that's kind of nice. But
Yes,
it's also, I feel like at this point, if I had kids, I'd be 60 when they're graduating. And I'm like, that's not worth
right.
it.
Yeah,
No, I
I
don't want to be
think
geriatric, like you said,
I
trying to
was
hobble after them when they're
100%.
no.
I was thinking about those friends when I was young, and I was like, bro, that means when you're 20, your parents are gonna be like 80.
Yeah,
How you're not gonna get to spend any meaningful time with them, like adult meaningful time, because they're gonna be so old that they can't do anything. Like, so again, that put it in my head that if I was gonna have kids, it was gonna be when I was young as shit, because
right,
I certainly was. I would love to have a kid graduating high school that I could then in a couple of years go have a beer with
right.
and still be young enough that I could go have a beer with
And
them.
not be worried about falling or something.
Right. Yeah, that shit is fucking it was that was such a weird
Yeah.
dynamic growing up, and I was one of very very few people. I didn't know many people who had young parents.
No, it's true. Honestly, I
That's really cool.
not many.
Not many at all. Okay, so you've got three pillars of art, which is really fucking cool. I play the guitar. Well, I have a few musical things which I didn't know I had in me until, my mom's dad played guitar, but I never even met him. So I kind of had that in my DNA, I guess. I loved to draw, but never drew, and I fucking hated writing, though I'm great at English and grammar.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's bizarre. Tell me about what led you down the path of art that you chose. Well, let's take
Ah,
it back to those three pillars. How
yeah.
did those three pillars affect you? Like, what was cool about them to you, and what was not cool about them to you?
I mean, the bright side is that I always had a very creative childhood. It was a very creative household. Like we're always doing art, music,
That's
and
so cool.
writing, and it was a very empowering environment. My mom's always been full of love,
Love
and
that.
and my stepdad, honestly, when he came into the picture, he was very young. He wasn't that much. He's only 13 years older than me. When he came into the picture, he was 22.
That's
And
so
I was
crazy.
this and I was this 10-year-old. And so he had to deal with my entire teen years as somebody that wasn't quite ready to deal with adulthood. And he
That's
did
so
a
crazy.
phenomenal job. I mean, honestly, he taught me how to be an adult. He taught me how to be a man. He taught me how to throw a football. I mean, there's things that I have so much respect for him for because he was there when he didn't have to be.
Well, quick question: was your dad no longer in the picture?
So there was actually like a 6 year period there where he was not. I want to say maybe it was 4 years between like 10 or 12 and 16. My dad actually he went deeper when my mom divorced him into the drugs and
Oh
alcohol, and
shit.
then he ended up cleaning up. And
Oh, good for him.
it was when I was like 12 or something, I lost contact with him. And between
Okay.
like 9 and 12, it was like once every 6 months or a year, we'd get a blast from my dad. He would like show up, wham bam, buy a bunch of stuff and disappear. And
Oh
he was never
shit.
paying child support. He was never really reliable, a lot of broken promises because he was constantly drinking and doing drugs. And he was heavily into it. And so it took him to a point where he burned every bridge in his life and he ended up being homeless and
Oh
sleeping in a
shit.
park, and his mom was delivering lunch to him but didn't want to enable him, so didn't want to like give him a house to stay in, like,
Yeah,
which is
totally.
honestly the smarter decision.
Absolutely.
Giving him food, keeping him alive, but also not letting him, continue the bad decisions.
100%.
He refused to go back home because he's like, I'm not going to be clean. And he was drinking himself, drunk every night. And he was waking up with piss frozen to his legs. And
Oh my
that was the
god.
moment that made him go, you know what? I can't do this anymore. So he
Holy
checked
shit.
himself into a clinic. It was that moment of, I mean, the only way anyone gets clean, you have to be the one to decide to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
He decided. And from that point on, he's been clean.
Oh, that's fucking great.
He's honestly, when I was 16, he wrote me this big long letter. There was like this absolutely massive. It was like 20 pages of apologies,
Holy
and
shit.
where he owned up to all the abuse. He owned up to all the financial mess ups, all the drugs, all the broken promises, everything that he was responsible for.
Dude, that is
This
incredible.
massive like letter, and it kind of rocked my world. Honestly, at that point, I was good, and then like some kind of deep subconscious thing kind of threw up my entire world. And I ended up acting out, and I ended up going through massive depression, and all kinds of stuff happened.
Holy
And
shit.
then I was like, you know what? I kind of want to go get to know my dad. I want to go
Yeah,
live with
yeah,
my dad.
rightfully so.
Like he's clean now, I can, right? And I was not getting along with my mom at the time, and so I bounced. I went to live with my dad in Arkansas. And at that point, he was much more of a big brother or an uncle figure.
Oh, fuck.
He was just as into
Fuck.
video games as I was. He was just into junk food and the newest
So
movie as
good.
I was. Like so, dinner was Twinkies and Coke,
Oh, fuck.
and the weekend activity was let's go see the newest movie and then go binge video games. Like,
I
and
mean, it
honestly, it was
sounds
really
fun.
cool. It was really fun, but it's also like, well, I probably what he wasn't necessarily the dad figure that would have. I don't know. He did have a lot of conversations with me to help understand girls. That was the big thing he helped me with. At that point, I was terrified of girls. I did not know how to handle it. But I had a lot of big conversations, a lot of heart-to-heart conversations with my dad, where he just kind of taught my autistic self, really, which I didn't understand at that point, that girls were the same species. Took me a while to realize that, and
Sure.
honestly, it was my dad that taught me that, and so I have that at least to be grateful for, and he definitely provided me for me much more financially at that point because he was very solid, and so he was buying me all the stuff, and
Okay.
felt like I was being spoiled for honestly out of his guilt. And it was kind of nice, but at the same time, it was kind of strange, and
Yeah.
especially after years of silence and all that, because it was a little overwhelming. And then my brothers both followed me and lived with us out
Oh,
there, and
shit.
they're 5 and 7 years younger than me, and so they got that kind of treatment, and they were kind of back and forth between here and Arkansas for several years until they graduated as well. So I do feel like he has more than paid the debt,
Sure.
and he's now like the number one person I go to for any of my mentor issues. Like if I need like help, like whether it be financially or emotionally or whatever it is, like he's gone through enough training and classes to be a doctorate in really drug and alcohol rehabilitation.
Wow.
He's actually the head of a clinic in Arkansas now. He's been doing it since he got clean.
Oh, that's so good.
He has helped thousands of people to get clean of drugs, alcohol, meth,
That's
fentanyl, all
awesome.
these different things. And he's in the heart of it. I mean, there's some really big problems down in the Delta in off of Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Texarkana, all of those areas. There's a lot of poverty, and everywhere there's
Right.
poverty, there's a lot of drugs. And so
Right.
he's really helping a lot of people, which I have a ton of admiration for.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
like, what the heck? How did he turn to that? But it's honestly, it's that darkness.
But
That
that's so
darkness in
cool that
his
you
life.
guys now have this closeness and
Yeah,
this relationship.
totally.
I love that. That's cool. Was there any animosity ever between your dad and your stepdad for that? Like your stepdad swooping in and taking over to help take care of the family, or
I
do
think
they always keep the peace?
I think at first maybe my dad was a little bit like kind of snarky about it. And that was probably when he was still using. That was
Okay,
before he had kind of vanished. And it was kind of like that initial like kind of God, I can't believe she left me for him kind of attitude, kind of
absolutely,
thing, which I
absolutely,
understand. I mean, you guys have been married for 10 years, like kind of thing.
absolutely.
So it does make sense. I probably would have been in the same position.
Yeah,
But it was also I feel like he tried very hard not to talk bad about them, and they tried very hard not to talk bad
that
about
is so
him,
good.
even though they hated each other's guts.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's
They were
fucking admirable as fuck. Sarah and I were just having a conversation about that yesterday, as a matter of fact. Like, when you get a lot better outcome when you let the child experience the other person for who they really are, whether that be good, bad, or the other. But bad mouthing them does nothing,
no.
but makes the child hate you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Let
like,
them figure it out for themselves.
that's amazing. They did it right. They did it right.
Yes.
That's
I will
really
say,
cool.
like there was one comment I made, about abuse. My parents were when they were using drugs rather abusive. Mostly, my dad was abusive. They were abusive towards each other. They would get in fights. They would
Sure.
throw things at each other, and then at one for like 1 year towards the end, like when I was 9 or so, my dad would then chase me and my brothers and like be abusive towards us.
Holy
It
shit.
was kind of like a "How dare you watch us fight" kind of thing.
Oh fuck.
So it was interesting, but that was also the straw that really broke my mom in like making her divorce him. So that I mean, honestly, it had to happen. But it was also the darkest point of his life that made him turn around and want to be better, right? So
That's
if
fucking
that
wild.
didn't happen to me, if none of that happened, I wouldn't be who I am now. For one,
Hundred
for
percent.
two, my dad wouldn't have helped thousands of people. And I'm like, well, isn't that pretty important? That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, the payout is the positives outweigh the negatives. So
Yeah. And now my mom is awesome. Her and my stepdad, they have an awesome hippie life up in the mountains, and they
that's
just do
so
art and
cool.
music. They had a business where they leased studios to artists and musicians here locally, and they actually won best new business in Albuquerque in 2008 during the financial crisis.
Wow,
And just because they just have this great culture and attitude, and they're very open and welcoming of all artists and musicians, and it was really cool. And so I grew up with that kind of an attitude in my household of like art is important. Like you can't not have music. You can't not like express yourself. You can't be shoved into a box.
that's so cool.
And so that really was what caused me to pursue art. And I've always had a sketchbook. I've always written. I've always done music. I was in band all the way through. I was in choirs all the way through. I mean,
Sweet.
my stepdad taught me to play guitar, and
So you took all three of those pillars and ran with them.
pretty much my problem is I did get an IQ test as part of my childhood diagnoses and everything, and I was rated as a very high IQ. And part of that, I think, has caused me to have problems deciding what to do. I feel like I can do anything. And so that's really been almost a problem for me more than enabling. Like, okay, you would think, oh, you can do anything. You're going to be great. You're going to be successful. It's like, well, now I'm in this position where I can't decide.
I
I love doing all these things. I want to do all these things. I would be great at all these things. What do I choose? And so I've spent most of my adult life going, okay, well, I'll try this for a little while. Okay, now I'll try this for a little while. And then
Oh
I'm
my
super
God.
ADHD. And so I go like 3 to 6 months. I'm very hyper focused. And so I get super in tuned with whatever I'm doing. And then I'll switch over to something else.
Oh my God, you're preaching to me about me. I am that dude.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. And so
that's
honestly,
fucking wild.
writing is the first one that's actually broken that. I
Interesting.
think writing might be the thing I do forever.
That's
It's interesting
awesome.
because it's the first 2-year period where I've really focused on this one thing and not needed to switch over to back to art or back to video games or back to music or back to some other creative facet.
No, let's not be too hasty here. You can have all of that in the background.
And I have. Like I just did a portrait for Christmas for my grandma, and I did my cover for my 4th book.
And there's nothing wrong with playing video games.
And video games are great. I played Expedition 33. It's a phenomenal game. If you haven't played it, play it.
Perfect.
So I mean, I definitely do those things, but what I've found in the past, I would spend like 3 months or 6 months, maybe a year tops, doing one of those creative facets. Like there was a period, I think it was like a year straight, where I did a portrait a day. And these are highly realistic graphite portraits.
Shut
And
the
at
fuck
the
up.
beginning, my portraits were not that great, but towards the end, they're absolutely you know exactly who I'm drawing.
Wow.
And I it just became my facet. And then my girlfriend at the time was like, "Why aren't you like putting these out there?"
Yeah, no shit.
I was just kind of doing a little TikTok, putting up my little video, a little time lapse of the drawing. I used to do a YouTube with like a lot of video game content, and I also had my art content on there too. And then she was like, "You need to go like sell this.
Yes.
Go to Comic Cons. I do
Yes.
superheroes. I do actors. I do musicians. I do all that kind
Oh,
of
that is
celebrities.
cool as fuck.
And so I didn't know that people wanted it. And I showed up at Comic Cons, and people were like, "That's so cool." Like anyway, so I started doing that, and I'm like, "That's really cool." But then I got kind of tired of, I guess, the output versus the reward. Like, and I got tired of people wanting me to do custom commissions, which if my heart's not in it, it's not as good. I've got to really care about what I'm creating.
God damn it, you are fucking talking about me. This is wild, bro. Maybe I should go like get some diagnostics done or something, because that's fucking wild. You're speaking about me. Like,
Well, I mean, maybe you should.
albeit I am not an artist by any stretch of the imagination, not in that context anyway. So
It's just the way our minds work, and just having that constant
dude, that
flux.
is fucking nuts.
Yes.
Wow, what a trip.
But yeah, so I did art for a while. I mean, I had a YouTube channel. I did some animations. Like I said, I went to film school. I love doing, I love creating. I love storytelling. I think for a while I had convinced myself it had to be visual storytelling. And so I turned away from the writing for like 10 years. I went to film school. I obsessively watched every kind of pop culture TV movie, everything I could. I absorbed it as best I could. And I also tried to create visual content, whether it be YouTube or animations or
Okay.
TikTok. And so I was creating a lot of visual content.
Yeah.
And then I got kind of disheartened with it. I don't know at what point. I think I was just busy at work. And so I just kind of stopped doing it. And then
Interesting.
lately, like 2 years ago, I kind of found a new creative wave. I read some books. One of them, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. If you haven't read it, definitely read it. It's 100 years old.
fucking don't read anything, but
It's 100 years old.
I
It's
aspire
100
to
pages.
read.
It's like it's 100 pages. It is a super quick read.
Okay.
It's all about this one dude. I forget what I think it was Napoleon Hill, the author of this book. He actually went to, I don't know if it was Andrew Carnegie. I'd have to read the book again. Andrew Carnegie or one of those guys, one of these big titans of the early 1900s.
Okay.
And it's like, I want to know how you got to where you are. How did you get so successful?
Yeah.
What makes you different than everyone else?
Yeah.
I want to know. And so the guy was like, don't ask just me. I'll pay for you to go around the world and ask every successful person
Oh, wow.
what makes them successful. I want you to ask everyone and write a book about it.
No shit.
And so he did. He spent like a couple years doing this, and
that's
he
fucking
came up
cool.
with this like idea of, honestly, what it boils down to is persistence always wins.
Persistence.
The idea of, I don't know, I'm sure you've seen the image of like the two mine tunnels, and you've got the two miners, and one of them's giving up, but the diamonds are right on the other side of the wall with the guy that's giving up. That's really what it is. It's that idea of you got to keep digging, because if you don't, you're never going to hit the diamonds.
Oh, fucking, that is so awesome.
And the difference between the Henry Fords of the world is that they never gave up. They kept pushing. They threw their entire life fortunes into it. They did not give up. They worked 100 hours a week. They threw every part of their heart and passion into it.
That's so inspiring. That's so cool.
Until they became Henry Ford and changed the world.
Sure.
Same thing for Andrew Carnegie. Same thing for JP Morgan. Same thing for all of these guys that Napoleon Hill went and interviewed. They all said the same stuff.
That is wild.
And so that's where I'm like, whoa, really? That's the difference? Here I am. I've done art. I've done YouTube. I've done TikTok. I've done all these different things. I try to express myself and get my stuff out there, in some way, and have some kind of, I don't know, appreciation for what I do, whatever it may be. And I was like, wait a second. The difference is I just gave up. I did it for 3 years. That's a long time. If I would have kept going, where would I be now? That's interesting. And I started thinking about that. I'm like, dang, why did I not keep going at it? I should have kept going at it. So I was kicking myself. And at first I was like, I'm going to go back to Minecraft. I had this Minecraft hero animated show. I'm obsessive, like I said, hyper-focused. So Minecraft was a huge obsession for me for a while.
That's cool.
I put thousands of hours into the game, and I built ridiculous worlds. And then I would do TV shows, or not TV shows, TV series, YouTube series, web series about like my how to build, how to play. Let's build certain constructions, tutorials. And then I also did a lot of art videos and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, it's not really what I feel. And I've always been more how I feel. And so at that point, I read a couple other books. One of them that was on my shelf was How to Write a Novel by Lawrence Block. And it was a book that I'd always kind of intended to read. I think I had read once when I was younger.
Okay.
I never kind of returned to it. And I was like, I have kind of always wanted to write a novel.
Wow.
I've tried like 3 times. I wrote a bunch of like TV shows and like not TV shows. I actually did write one TV show, but a lot of like mini shorts and animated stuff. And so I've done a lot of writing, but I never finished a novel. So like, I'm just going to see if I can. Why not? Just Think and Grow Rich inspired me. I'm going to do it. And really the difference, what it says in that book is just start doing it. Don't say, I want to be a writer. Just start acting like you are one. What does a writer do? They sit down every day and they write.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
That's
They
fucking
sit
nuts.
down every day and they write. The biggest difference is if you dream of something and you never take that step to achieve it, you'll still be at the bottom of that staircase. But if you dream of something and you start taking baby steps up that staircase, maybe it doesn't seem like you're doing much every day. Maybe you wrote 5 pages.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a book. But if you do 5 pages every day, in 100 days, you got 500 pages.
Bro, that is fucking wild.
That's a book. That's a book in 3 months.
Have you ever thought about inspirationally speaking? Like this is highly motivating shit you're talking about. This
This is why I connect to my customers at the bank. I'm always like, this is what I go into, and my customers love it. Like,
it's fucking, I love it. This is good shit, dude.
Yes. And so, and I think it's because I've come out of that darkness and I found a way to lift myself out. Now I'm able to find that motivation for other people too. So maybe I should. Maybe that is something
Fucking really cool, dude. Like that was like just listening to your words right there and thinking about my own life. I'm like, oh fuck, this is inspiring shit. Like I need to keep doing this
Just
shit.
do
like,
it. Yes.
That's so cool,
podcast,
dude.
just keep at it. And you never know.
Well, to be
you
fair,
never know.
I never have any aspiration of making this my life.
Right.
Like I love the podcast. Don't get me wrong, but I do this because I like conversing with people.
Yes.
And I like getting people's lives and their stories out to other people because it's good shit and everybody should hear this stuff. I love this.
Well, and that genuine enjoyment is what honestly separates a lot of people from those that can't.
Interesting.
That genuine enjoyment, that genuine love and passion for what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what gets the Henry Fords to happen.
Well, and I love the tech side of it too. Like I love setting shit up and tearing it down and
Right,
all that kind of stuff.
All the fun
too. So
toys that go with it. Yeah.
editing. I love all of that shit. It's this whole process has been something that is like I got fascinated with, and I've actually like stuck it out, and I'm like, this is fun. I could do this fucking forever.
Right.
If it never goes anywhere, it never goes anywhere. But
totally,
these stories are going to be online now forever.
Yeah.
And people will always be able to find them and listen to somebody else's story. And I think that's the coolest fucking thing ever.
Yes. And everyone has an interesting story. Everyone can
does.
be inspirational.
Everybody
honestly, does. It's one of those things that it kind of it's mind blowing every once in a while when you're driving down the interstate and you see thousands of people all around you zipping by and you're like, gosh, every single one of these are amazing individual
I've
lives.
never thought of that, but yeah, absolutely. That's
every single
wild.
one of them have their own crazy dream, and every single one of them have their own crazy trauma, and every single one of them have some hope for today, let alone this year or next year. And we're just kind of zipping by and ignoring each other.
That's exactly why, like, every time I meet somebody, I'm like, hey, you want to do a podcast? I know you don't know me, but you want to come and tell me a story? Like,
right? You never know.
It's fucking cool as shit, dude.
It is. I love it.
So let's walk me into how, okay, you said you started reading about finishing your novel about how to write a novel, and you'd always wanted to do it. Now, how did that lead to where we are now?
So January of 2024, like,
oh my God, hold on. You that is a very recent date. And you told me, I believe you said you have 4 books published.
I actually just finished my 5th. It's going to be published in February. I am incredibly prolific. I'm also incredibly highly detailed. And so I will say that I've got quality content. I'm obsessive about it, though. Like I said, hyper-focus.
This is fucking crazy. Okay, so I'm sorry to interrupt you. Please
So
continue.
2024, January 2024, I had just read those books. And I'm like, okay, well, I've got these ideas for stories. I've always had ideas for stories. Like, ideas are limitless for me. I have ideas for art, ideas for stories. I would just sit down, but here's an idea for your story you're writing. Like, I can help people.
That is
like,
cool.
It just comes out of me limitless. My problem, I can't get it down fast enough. So I don't know if you've seen Hamilton. There's this song in Hamilton where he's always writing like he's running out of time. That feels like me. I'm always running like there's not enough time for me to get all the stories that I want out.
That's fucking nuts.
Anyway, so when I started writing, I'm like, well, which story do I want to write? And so I'm like, okay, well, I love time travel. At that point, I had just done my ancestry DNA. And so I found out that I was actually, and I had no idea what I was. My last name is Beck. My grandparents are Becks. So I was like, cool, I must be part German.
Yeah.
There's no German in me. Not at all. I am actually 46% Scottish, 26% Irish, 16% English, and like 5% Welsh, and like 1% Spanish. I'm mostly the Isles. I'm a white dude.
Fair enough.
But that made me go, that's really interesting. I want to learn more about these people and why they came over and where they came from. And the Scottish and the Irish specifically caught my attention. And so I really dug into that. And I started learning about the potato famine. And I started learning all these different things that I learned a little bit in school, but not enough. American school doesn't go into European history.
No.
So I found out all this
stuff.
Go
into American history. Let's call it what it is.
Exactly. And so I actually was able to trace my lane back all the way to Charlemagne, which is wild. It's like 700 AD, Emperor of Rome. And what I found out actually is that everyone is related to Charlemagne, apparently. Like everyone in Europe, everyone in the United States is related to Charlemagne. If you have European ancestry, you're related to Charlemagne.
Wow.
And it's because he just pumped his seed out all over Europe, and then everyone in Europe became related to him thousands of years later, and now here we are, products of Europe, and so we're all related to him too. Anyway, so that plus my ancestral love DNA, plus wanting to write a story about time travel, I was like, And so I came up with the idea of the Ancestral Debt Anthology, and it's really based on the idea of one character that inherits a chest from his great-grandfather that goes back generations through their family all the way to Charlemagne.
Okay.
And this debt forces the inheritor to go back in time to save 3 different lives in 3 different periods of history. And then if they don't, they get stuck in history. But if they do, then they get to come back to their regular life. And it's a magical fantasy adventure. The chest like speaks in drums and chants, kind of like Jumanji a little bit.
Oh, fuck.
And so it's pulled, and you're kind of forced into these positions you really don't want to be in. And the heroes are very much like, I don't know that I can do this. How am I going to, what? I got to walk into war? I'm a teenager. I don't know how to do, these are the kind of situations I put people in. And then it's all about, honestly, the cost to change history, the cost of a life, the value of family, family legacy, the burdens that we carry through our family. Like it's that's really what comes back in this. Like a lot of it is there, and so a lot of myself is in it. And actually, my ancestry comes back because a lot of my character names are my own family names. And the main character is actually James Manning. My birth name was Bryan Manning. My middle name is James. My author name is Bryan James Beck. So I took my James and I took my birth name Manning, and I'm like, that's my character, James Manning.
Nice.
And I took all the way through my family roots, and I found a clan in Scotland called the Omengans. And so I was like, oh, that seems like where my family would go back to. And so I decided I was going to talk about, an ancient debt that starts in ancient Ireland, an ancient Ire, before it was Ireland.
Nice. That's cool as shit.
Honestly, it's really cool. It goes into Scotland, it goes to Ireland, it goes to England, it goes to France, it goes to, I actually just finished my third book, which teasers, are spoilers. The third one goes to American Revolution and Canada. So I'm really just digging into my family roots and just finding what locations would be cool to talk about.
That's cool as shit. Now, is that the end of the series?
No. If you think about it, every 4 generations, which may be 100 years, depending on how it's spaced out, every 4 generations, there's a time traveler. And so every 100 years, there's another time traveler. That's 1,300 years of time traveling.
So there's not really an end to your series. It can just keep going.
I really could keep it going forever.
Do you intend on keeping it going forever?
Currently, I have a loose outline for 12 to 15 books.
That's fucking cool.
And I just finished the third one. The third one is introducing, or really finishing the second time traveler of the series story. And it's not finishing, it's just really rounding it off. There's more to come, of course. But
okay, now you said you just finished your 5th book. What are the other 2?
So my first book was A Debt in Time. It established James's story. He travels through time. He saves his 3 lives. He returns back home. My second book, I wrote it in a week.
Oh, my God.
Over the summer, I took a week vacation, and I went camping with my family. And then I was like, I had a week off, and I'm like, I just felt inspired by family. And,
dude, that's
I
crazy.
loved my time travel story. At that point, I had edited it, but I hadn't published it yet.
Okay.
So I'm like, I want to do the sequel. And so I just dug in. I just wrote the sequel in a week.
Wow.
I was like, what the heck? I wrote 60,000 words in a week? What the hell?
Bro, I could barely write my name in a week.
And some people tell me it takes them a year to write a sentence. It's insane.
That's nuts.
So I was able to pump it out, and then I put it in. So I use AI to help me edit.
Okay.
To spot the errors, to spot the grammar. I don't trust it to fix it. I want it to keep, I don't trust errors. I don't trust mistakes, hallucinations, that kind of stuff. So I want to make sure that it's absolutely perfect. And so I put it through 100 times, not really, 20 times per chapter. I go through the entire book 20 times. I go through the entire book, find the errors, fix it. I go through and I test logic. I test theme. I test continuity. I test, grammar and punctuation, that kind of stuff. But once it's done, it's ready to go. It's a beautiful book. And it's actually been an amazing experience. Anyway, so I spent the week writing A Debt Remembered, and then I spent 3 weeks publishing or editing it, and then it was ready to go before the first book was published. And so I published the first book September 15th. And I decided that day because that is historically the Battle of Britain Day. That was the day in World War II when the Nazi Luftwaffe came over to Britain, and they were like, we are going to annihilate Britain today. And the Britain RAF stood their ground.
Yeah.
Fought them back. And that turned the entire war, in my mind. Now, granted, there's lots of theories on what actually turned it, but I wanted my character to go back to that moment. And so James, this is a young adult adventure. You got to suspense a little bit of belief. James is based on my life. My uncle was a pilot. He used to take me up in his Cessna. I have a lot of hours, cool. Not a lot, maybe 50 hours in a plane, something like that.
That's fucking cool.
But it was cool, what kid gets to do that, right? Anyway, so unless you're Civil Air Patrol or whatever. But anyway, so I had that experience. Plus, tons of flight simulators. I loved flight simulators. Everything from a commercial airline to World War II dogfights. I was all about it.
That's cool as fuck.
Joysticks and everything. this is so cool.
Yeah.
So I'm well, let's put that person that loves flying into a real war with flying. And so I had him fight with the RAF against the Luftwaffe.
Fuck yeah.
And I have him feel the vibrations. And I have him really get the sensory overload of, this isn't video games.
It's fucking nuts.
And then, he goes through that whole experience and saves a life. And then he's able to move on to another time. but it's
Bro, your book is on some Taylor Swift shit with some like Easter eggs hidden here and there, like all the way
yes.
up to your
I did a
release
ton
date.
of
That's
research.
nuts.
I did a ton of research. It's crazy. And
That's so cool.
so the first book came out September 15th. The second book I released October 15th, the very next month. And then I had back in September or January 2024. So back when I flashback when I first started writing, right?
Uh-huh.
January through March, there was like a 70-day period ish where I wrote 4 books.
Damn.
I wrote A Debt in Time, Blood and Wine, which at that time I was calling it Blood on the Vines. My Quantum Force book, which I have yet to edit and publish, and my erotica novel. So
Oh.
I wrote those 4 novels, very different genres. We got like sci-fi, historical fantasy, noir, and erotica. Like that. And part of that was because of my ADHD. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm going to write them 2 weeks into this. Okay, I ran into a spot I'm not really sure about. Okay, cool. I'm going to write this. And I'm like, well, that's kind of strange.
Dude.
I'm going to switch over here. And so I was like, I wrote these books and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I just did that.
That is fucking nuts.
So I spent the next, like in 2024, I spent the next like 6 months editing and trying to get it all perfected and everything. And I actually hired editors through Penguin Publishing, like found editors on Reezy that actually are professional level, highly rated, paid them like a couple grand each to really go through and dig into my books. I was like, I'm taking this serious. I want to be a writer.
That is amazing.
What do writers do? They pay for editing. And so that's what I did. And I joined a bunch of groups. I joined Southwest Writing. I joined their critique group. I love the critique group at Southwest Writing. Huge props to them. I've been still meeting to them to this day, 2 years later.
Oh, that is so cool.
And so all of this work. And then I started querying. I sent out my books to 200, 180, something like that, different agents. And I got 0 responses. It's kind of heartbreaking. Yeah. But I used it as fuel for the fire. I turned around and read it. I think it was 150 or 200 books over the course of 6 months. Mostly novels of fiction, but there was also like 10 to 20 that were like craft books, how to write books.
Okay.
And also like film dissection books, story dissection books, that kind of stuff. Most of it was really stuff I already knew, but it just kind of cemented that knowledge. And it took it from an instinctual level to an actual working knowledge level. Anyway. And so I took that and then I realized I can use AI for editing and I dove back in and I did another round of editing over this last summer. So there was like a 6-month period. I think I was actually back into video games. So this last 2 years, I have not been writing entirely. There was only like 3 months where I wrote. There was another like week that I wrote. And then this last like 6 months I've been writing.
You're like, I wrote 5 books in the span of less than a month, no biggie.
And so it's prolific, like absurdly prolific. Anyway, and so it's because of my autism. I have this T-shirt I love wearing. It says, "'Twas the tism, my lord." It's so appropriate for my life. Like, I'm sorry. So many people are like, "How did you do these portraits? Wait, how did you write a book in a week? Like, what? How do you dress the way you do?" I'm like, I'm autistic. I'm sorry. Like, I'm just a crazy person. But anyway, so moving on beyond that, I write my second book in a week.
Real quick, let me stop you.
Yeah.
Before we move on, tell me about your autism. What were you diagnosed with, and how does that like affect?
I am very highly masked autistic. And so I developed the ability to hide it, I guess, as a child. I started looking at a lot of videos talking about like why that happens. And it's part of like abuse autistic.
Well, but what is your diagnosis? What's your official autism diagnosis? Like, where are you?
AUDHD. Like, that's what they came back with.
Okay.
ADHD. And then they said, which I never thought I had the H. I was always like diagnosed with ADD.
Okay.
I never had the H part of it. But I guess I didn't have like the high energy, the bouncing off the walls. Although I could. No, and you might say different. My brother is so severe ADHD that he was like literally bouncing off the walls, couldn't hold his focus for like 5 seconds. And so I'm comparing myself to him going, nah, I don't have ADHD.
Okay.
He's got ADHD.
Okay.
And so I spent my childhood going, no, I'm just ADD. I just have a problem with attention. It's fine.
Sure.
I can't regulate my attention.
Okay.
That's what I've always taught myself. I'm like, I focus. I focus. I can't like do a bunch of things because I have to do one thing at a time. And so that's what I taught myself.
Okay.
But then these therapists are like, no, that's a hyperfixation. And that's part of ADHD as well. It's also kind of a part of autism. And so then we went into a lot of that. And then we started talking about routines and like my need for a routine and a need for everything to be the same all the time. Like I eat the same lunch every day.
No shit.
Bean burrito. I love my bean burritos. They're a comfort food. I found it at one point that legumes reduce the cortisol levels. And so they're a stress reducer. Plus, my childhood, every time that we ate well, it was bean burritos.
I love a bean burrito.
I could eat as much as I wanted. And I would fill myself up. And I love the bean, cheese, and onions bean burrito. I'm like, let's go.
Facts.
So that's my comfort food.
Okay.
And so I do it every lunch, every single day. And it's funny. People give me crap about it, but I'm like, 'twas the tism.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
Okay. So back on your writing.
Yes, yes. So I wrote the one book, came back from camping in July and wrote the book in a week and edited it before August even started. And so by the time I'm getting ready to publish the first book, the second book's ready to publish as well.
That's
And so I
wild.
scheduled them out. And this sucked because I'm like, August, and now I got to wait till the middle of September to publish, but it's done now. So I'm waiting like 6 weeks. And what's funny about that is a lot of authors, it's like a multi-year process.
Holy shit.
It's not something that takes a month. Working with a publishing company, working with editing, like they take your work. It takes them a month and they give it back to you. You do a draft, you get it back to them. You do that 20 times. It takes like 2 years to get through that. And then once you're done with that, now the publisher gets it and they have a few things you want to do to it. And so it takes another year. And then finally it gets into the hands of the population, but that's like another 3-month wait for them to, print the books and get them out there. I just did way more than that in way less time because honestly, I'm doing self-publishing. I'm doing it all through Amazon KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing.
Okay.
And so I'm my own powerhouse, but I also don't have the marketing behind me. I don't have anybody saying, hey, you should go read Bryan. But my readers do. And so that's been a phenomenal thing. I did it because I loved it.
That's great.
I started writing because like, this is amazing. I can create this entire world and get lost in it. And I love reading. And so I'm like, wow, it's like I'm reading this world, but I'm also the master of it. I'm creating this world. This
That's
is
cool.
so cool.
It's really
Every
cool.
little thing that I want to happen, I can just make happen. So I fell in love with writing again. And I'd been a writer as a kid. Like I said, I actually wrote, I think it was like a 200-page novel. Didn't quite finish it. Honestly, it's because it was supposed to be a first in a series. I'm probably going to end up doing that later. As a 12-year-old, and what 12-year-old writes 200 pages of anything?
That's fucking wild.
So anyway, it was just really digging back into what I already loved and kind of forgotten that I'd loved.
Okay.
And I'd always journaled. And so journaling, I've always been in the habit of writing and being in like a mind of someone, I guess, just having that kind of direct point of view. And so a lot of times I'm in my character's viewpoint. I'm talking about what they're thinking. And so I can write that very naturally as well. So even when I wasn't practicing it, I was practicing it. I didn't even know it. Anyway, so I started writing and Adet remembered a week and I published it before I even realized it. And Blood and Wine was ready to go. I had wrote 3 other novels. They were ready to go. So I'm like, okay, well, I just did those 2.
Wild.
I just did those 2. Cool. Well, let's just try it again. Let's see what happens. And so I just jumped into Blood and Wine, which at the time was Blood in the Vines. It's a murder mystery noir. It's very different than the Ancestral Debt series. The Ancestral Debt series, you can have like your 13-year-old read my Ancestral Debt series. You can have an 80-year-old read my Ancestral Debt series. They're both going to love it. It's got like generational themes. It's got a lot of family themes. So like any age can love my Ancestral series, really.
Okay.
Even my nephews who are 8 seem like they're going to love it. It's anyway. So My Blood on the Vines that became Blood and Wine is a noir about a character who survived trauma as a Navy SEAL. He got blown up as a Navy SEAL and his face got disfigured because of it. He came back to his everyday life after being medically discharged from the military, honorable discharge, Purple Heart. And he decided after everyone in his life pretty much rejected him. His wife couldn't handle looking at him. And so she divorces him, or they divorce. And then his mom can't look at him without going, oh, your poor face, my poor baby. And so he's just like, I can't. And then everywhere he goes, people are like running from him, turning away. Oh my God. Like it's just all these reactions. And so he's like, I can't deal with normal life. And so I have PTSD. I wanted to write a character about PTSD. That's really where this came from. Anyway.
Okay.
And so I wrote this based on war violence, which is not the PTSD I have. I'm very glad that I don't have that PTSD.
Sure.
But I understand what it is to be triggered. I understand what it is to be not wanting to be reminded of your triggers,
Sure.
and just want to live your life. And so that's really where
After I'm bringing all this shit up in the podcast.
It's fine. At this point, I've worked through my shit, and so I'm fine with it.
That's cool.
I can talk about it.
That's
honestly.
admirable.
My employees at work will ask me about it, and I'll tell them. Like, I'm an open book. I'll tell anybody my life.
That's really cool.
It's who made me who I am now.
Yes.
And why
100%.
be ashamed of that, right?
100%. That's how I am too.
Right. And so Blood and Wine, it's about this guy, and he decides, you know what? My mom and I used to grow stuff. I love bringing joy to people, and I just want to bring joy to this world instead of all the pain that I've experienced. And so he decides he wants to learn how to make wine because he learned how to grow things with his mom, and he knows wine makes a lot of people happy.
Yep.
So he decides, I'm going to go to wine country, and I'm going to learn how to make wine. Screw everybody else. I'm going to disappear. I don't want to go to California wine country. That's overpopulated. I'm going to go to New Mexico winery.
Oh, shit.
And so he goes to Ruidoso. Small town, not a lot of people there. And it's a forest mountain community. Beautiful. If you've never been, definitely.
I have.
It's awesome. I love it there. I feel bad for all the trauma that they go through with the fires and the floods
Fires
and
and the
everything.
floods.
Yes, yes. But otherwise, it's a beautiful place, and if you
Yeah.
can go, spend your money there. But anyway, he goes there to learn about wine. He stops in a random winery. He's not expecting, nobody's expecting them there, and he kind of befriends this winery owner. This winery owner is very friendly to him. Kind of sees past the scars.
Okay.
And so he's like, "Wow, this is great. Why didn't I come to this town sooner? Why didn't I try this sooner?" Anyway, so he does that, and then he goes home drunk, and the next morning the cops show up. Turns out that winery got killed that night.
The owner.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's framed for the murder because he was the
fuck.
last one there. And he's a Navy SEAL. So
Yeah.
dude is well equipped.
Yeah.
And he goes on the lam. He tries to prove his innocence. And so the book is all about his adventure trying to uncover the facts, trying to figure out who actually did it. And honestly, it goes into a deep conspiracy in Ruidoso. And there's a police officer, Gracie Kim, who's the other half. There's two POVs. We have the Michael and you have the Navy SEAL, and you have Gracie Kim, who's a police officer.
Okay.
Gracie Kim is also kind of traumatized. She came from APD, and she dealt with too much domestic abuse cases in APD. And so she wanted to go to small town Ruidoso to get away from all that.
Holy shit.
And then she's the officer that gets assigned to this case. So
Dude.
she's trying to uncover it, but then she doesn't believe it. She keeps finding things, and it just seems too cut and dry, too clear cut. There's no way that it could be this Navy SEAL, this Purple Heart veteran, this guy that she actually talks to at one point. It's like, he didn't ring me as somebody that could have done this.
Yeah.
You know, you get a vibe of somebody in cops, especially. They get a vibe of somebody like in moments, and she's like, "It's just not right." So she keeps uncovering all these facts that are pointing to him, and she's like, "I don't know." And then it turns into a crazy thriller, and it's
Yeah. Let's not give away the whole thing. 'Cause that sounds interesting.
it's super awesome. I've actually received, and it's funny because, like I said, I did it because I enjoyed it, and I pumped out these books, and then I started sending them off for editorial reviews because, like, okay, are they any good? My friends and family are reading them. They love them. They're reading them in a day or two, and they're like, "I can't put it down. It's so cool." They're leaving these great glowing reviews. I'm like, they're friends and family. They're biased. They don't count. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to pay somebody to give me a review because I know if I pay someone, they're going to be held to that standard of, ethical. They got to make sure they're giving a legit review.
Well, I beg to differ. With money involved, people are
You would think.
they're going to want to side with you because they're going to want you to pay them again in the future. Like,
And so I did a lot of research ahead of time. I was like,
Okay.
okay, so what review services are legitimate?
Okay.
What review services are really just kind of pay reviews,
Yeah.
5-star reviews, and I didn't want that. I
No,
wanted
of
something
course.
that could be recognized nationally. I wanted something that people would see and go, "Wow, that's legit."
Okay.
And so I went for reader reviews. I did readers' favorites. I did both of those for all my books, and they all came back with 5-star reviews. They're all saying on a professional level with like 20 bullet points, fundamental evaluation of my work. They read hundreds of novels a year, and they're all
No
coming back
shit.
with six out of 6 5-star reviews. Every single one of these professional editors is coming back with, "Wow, that was an amazing book. Wow, that was fun to read. Oh, the environment's so immersive. Oh, the themes are on point. Oh, it made me think deeper. All these different things." And I'm just like,
Bro, that is
wait,
cool
I
as
could actually
shit.
do this? Like, hold on, what?
That's really cool.
I'm like, I thought I was just the artist guy. I didn't know I was the novelist guy.
Now, do you do your own art for the books as well?
So I actually used AI. I directed it, though. I spent about a day each and about 50 different images generated before I finally got to the image that I went with. But it's exactly what I wanted. And
Okay.
it's exactly the scenes I wanted depicted. If I was a draw it, it's probably pretty close to what it would come out to. But I didn't want to put the effort in.
Do you have any intention of maybe for a future book doing your own art?
Yes.
Okay.
So my thought is, one, I think I want to get a little more steam or demand for that first.
Oh, of course.
Like once I have like a following that might go for something like that, yes, 100%. I can do chapter art, I can do cover art, I can do all of it.
Yeah, that'd be
And then
cool.
it would be all by the author, and then on top of that, I've actually done my own audiobook for the first book. And so I can do
Nice.
the audiobook, I can do the cover art, I can do the editing, I can do the writing. One person show.
Wow.
So down the line, yes, that is definitely something I want to do. I was
Very
thinking
cool.
maybe like the 1 year anniversary. That might be kind of cool. Or maybe
You were not
September.
even to the 1 year.
That's what I was thinking. I already have a plan for all of 2026.
I have
Actually,
a
I'm
30
planning-
fucking book series. We're coming up on our 1 year anniversary. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yes. Well, and it's so I've gotten to this point now. I just wrote my okay. So let me back up.
Yeah, please.
Blood and Wine. It was the worst shape out of any of my books. I had paid an editor to go through it, and I had edited it, but I didn't put as much work into it as I did with like A Debt in Time and A Debt Remembered, and it just wasn't as polished. And so when I started trying to actually like fine tune polish Blood and Wine, it took a little longer. I think it was like a month.
Okay.
We'd actually like fully fine tune and polish that book. And I was just like every day, like, God, I'm still editing this. I can't believe what the heck. Like, but then it came out fantastic and I love it. So it was worth it. Right. And
That's
so
awesome.
I finished that one and I got it published. I actually could have published it 1 month after the last, which would have been November 15th, but I decided to wait till Thanksgiving. I don't know why. I just thought it was a good day. So I put December 27th or November 27th and I released it on Thanksgiving. Part of the reason was like, okay, well, I don't know. This whole publishing a book every month, should I really commit myself to that? That's kind of a crazy pace. Like probably shouldn't be doing that. And so I was like, well, I'm going to push it back 2 weeks. And so I pushed it back 2 weeks, which was pretty much Thanksgiving. So I'm like, okay, cool. That works. And then I'm like, well, maybe I can push my next book even further. And so that's what I did. Pleasure Slave was my erotica novel. I actually have a pen name for that. It's BJ Masterson. But it's also got a 5-star review. People love it. It's very emotional. It's very deep. It's very... it's got a great character journey. It's all about a girl who she finds out her husband is cheating on her. She witnesses it. Doesn't find out from him or from her. She witnesses it. Sees them kiss on her drive to work. And she's a school teacher. And she's been married to him for 5 years. He's like a scientist kind of guy. And she's the lab assistant he's fooling around with. Much younger than both of them. So it's the younger girl. Anyway.
Okay.
So she sees him cheating. And then she consoles with her best friend at work, another teacher. And the best friend's like, hey, have you heard about the adult clubhouse? You should come and let out some stress. And so hesitantly, she goes and sees it. And it's like, wow, this is wild. Like it's BDSM. It's very adult.
Yeah.
And Jenny is kind of a star. She's like this amazing, like showgirl. Like, everybody knows Jenny. Everybody wants to see her show. And so when she goes and watches the show, and it's just like this eye-opening experience for her. And then she's kind of aroused by it. And she goes through this whole journey of self-exploration. And it becomes kind of her journey of realizing that she's worth it on her own without her husband. And that it's okay for her to not be married to the guy that just broke her heart. And so it's kind of like a romance breakup in addition to a self-discovery that is a BDSM erotica novel. Like, I don't know. It's really bizarre. Anyway.
Wow.
But it's really good. I love the way that came out too.
Dude, that's so good.
And then I published that to be published in January 16th, like I said. And it's been getting great reviews, which kind of blows my mind too. Because I'm like, wait, I can write erotica too? Holy cow! Like, that's such a versatility. Like what?
It doesn't sound like you have any limits when it comes to writing. It sounds like
not.
If you just get an idea that you're going to run with it and it's going to turn out okay.
If I have experience with it, if I have any past exposure to something, I can write about it.
That's fucking wild.
And I have a lot of exposure to a lot of different things.
No shit.
Now, granted, I've never had exposure to police, but I've had a lot of security guard friends, and I've talked to a lot of like people that were working towards being police officers, and I've read a lot of murder mysteries, watched a lot of true crime. I've seen how investigations happen. Like I guess in a way been exposed to that, just not as directly as some of the other things. But anyway, so I wrote Pleasure Slave. I got that pen name because I'm like, I don't know, like my kids that are reading A Debt in Time, they probably shouldn't find Pleasure Slave. That's kind of I probably don't want those emails from parents. So I was like, different pen name. I'm not going to advertise it like as part of Bryan James Beck. Bryan James Beck is the murder mystery and the time traveling stuff and the sci-fi stuff, the fun stuff.
Sure.
Although Blood and Wine, kids don't watch it. No, that's got too many curse words for kids. But anyway, so after that one, I was like, okay, well, it's time to go back to A Debt in Time. I had several readers at this point. I want to say like a dozen or so that had read through my A Debt in Time and Debt Remembered and got back to me. It was like, where's the next book?
Oh, shit.
I need the next book. I left it on an absolute cliffhanger. I mean, part of it, I'll give you a little tiny spoiler about what A Debt Remembered is about. A Debt in Time is James inheriting the chest from his great-grandpa, Robert.
Right.
A Debt Remembered is James's great-granddaughter, Ivy, reading Robert's story. So it's a prequel sequel.
Oh, interesting.
And she ends up getting entangled with Robert's story. So there is time travel that Ivy partakes in that book, but it's not her debt fulfilled. She's not going back to save lives. It's a different story. It's Robert's story. So we have James' story followed by his great-grandfather Robert's story, and now this third book that I just finished writing, and I'm actually in the middle of editing right now, is A Debt Returned, which is actually Ivy's story.
Oh, shit.
So Ivy now is going through time to save 3 lives.
Now,
and this one is the most emotional of the series. They get more emotional each time, but this one, I gotta say, I'm like, oh my God, it made me cry writing it like several
That's
times.
fucking cool.
Several times.
That's really powerful.
It is, and it made me doubt myself. I'm going through here and like, okay, well, is this how George R. R. Martin feels killing characters off? Like, oh man, I hope readers don't hate me.
um, when can we expect to see the movies?
psh, Whenever Hollywood comes knocking, I would probably
Well,
sign right away.
let's start working on that because I want to watch this in a movie form.
People tell me they're very cinematic, like they're so immersive, and they're fun, light, easy reads, and so they read kind of like if you think of like the first Harry Potters, they're very easy to pour through.
Dude, that's cool.
And then you get attached to the characters because there's just so much emotion and so much heart, and the characters like the main characters have so much heart exposure, and you're in their emotional journey.
Well, as little as I like reading, it sounds like I'm gonna be doing a lot of it.
Yeah. Well, and I will say the movies that it gets compared to are Outlander and Percy Jackson. Those are the two big ones. Oh, and Time Traveler's Wife. So
That's a good movie.
I recently watched The Way Home, which is a Hallmark time travel show, and that is also very similar to it because it's got that same kind of family legacy tie-in.
Interesting.
So
Okay, you said you brought some things to show. Let's show those.
okay, so let's start at the beginning, I guess. I have some artwork here. I'll go ahead and hand them over to you.
Okay.
It's a little binder of. This is what I call my celebrities binder. I actually have like 6 different binders.
Holy shit! You drew these?
Yes, and so they're in chronological order. The top
Oh.
ones were the first ones I did. This would have been like 15 years ago or something, and the
Shit.
bottom ones I did more like 5 years ago.
Dude, I see Markiplier.
Yep.
I see Lil Wayne.
Yep.
PewDiePie.
Well, not Lil Wayne.
This?
No, that's Bob Marley. That's Bob Marley.
Is there? Oh. Oh, okay. Yes, yes. Hold on. Okay, to my credit, I'm
It is a
looking at
tiny
these
thing.
as thumbnails,
It's
but
true.
The full size one looks. That very much is a Lil Wayne smile, though.
It is totally.
But yeah, no, I
and
can
he's
see the
coughing
Marley.
on the
Yeah, yeah. Dude, that's cool as shit. Lennon?
Yeah, John Lennon.
Yeah,
One of my favorite shots of him. I did that one for my mom actually, long time ago.
wild. I'm bad with the female celebrities.
That's Natalie Portman.
Okay, yeah, yes, it is. Dude, this is wild.
And those ones, I feel like they're just not as good. I
Johnny
feel like they
Depp.
don't look like the person I'm trying to draw. So I don't blame you at all for having trouble identifying. But Johnny Depp was probably the better of the 4.
That was
As
really
you go
good.
forward, like the more detailed they become. Like I
Dude.
started holding myself to such a crazy standard.
The like pupils, the eyes on these is fucking wild.
That's Zoe Deschanel probably. Yeah, Zoe Deschanel.
That is nuts.
That's
Dude.
actually what people usually say. I'll put up I have like a sleeve and I'll put my prints in them, and people will walk
Oh my
by the market and they'll
God.
see all the prints. They're like, whoa, like the
Bro.
eyes draw you in. But that attention to detail, that necessary,
good.
like that need for perfection, I take that into my writing too. Like every sentence has to be perfect.
I can't. This is fucking nuts, dude.
This is just one binder. Like I said, I've got hundreds. And so I've done Star Wars, I've done Lord of the Rings, I've done Harry Potter, I've done Marvel Universe, I've done all of it. Like it's just I
Wow.
can't stop. I've done Umbrella Academy, I've done so many different ones. It's wild.
Now, okay, so as I'm Jacksepticeye, yes,
Yes.
this is when before he grew out his hair all
Yes.
ugly.
That was back when I was watching him religiously.
Yeah, dude. Same,
Top
100%.
of the morning to you.
Top of the morning to ya. Some dirty bean water. Yeah, dude, this is cool as shit.
Right?
This PewDiePie is fucking spot the fuck on. That is so fucking cool.
Well, and the YouTubers, those were all done on my YouTube channel as like time lapses, and so I have them all on my YouTube channel.
Okay,
But-
so on that note, I've taken a lot of your time, but I do want to promote all of your things. I want
totally.
everybody to know where to find all of these things. So tell everybody where they can find your artwork, where they can find your books, where they can find your everything and everything that
Honestly,
you have.
I feel like almost everything can be found just by searching my name, Bryan James Beck.
Okay.
BryanJamesBeck. Pretty simple, and then that honestly points you to everything from my Facebook to my TikTok
Holy
to my
shit.
actually author website to my Amazon page to the 5-star reviews I'm getting to all that stuff.
And what platforms is all of this shit on? Is it all just YouTube or
So I have my TikTok was primarily portraits.
bro, Marilyn?
Yes.
That is so fucking crazy. incredibly good.
Thank you, thank you. And so I TikTok was primarily art, but recently I've switched it to writing. My last 6 videos have been writing instead. So I'm changing TikTok to be writing instead. But I do have a lot of drawings on there. My YouTube, it was like 700 videos. And so between those, I want to say 50 to 100 are animation and drawing, and the other like 600 are or not time lapses, video games from anything from like Portal and Left 4 Dead to like Minecraft, and a lot of Minecraft, I will say.
Have you ever thought about doing like an animation show?
I did. So I've actually written the script and done the intro for something I called Schwagland. It was supposed to be kind of a stoner comedy adult TV show, and I never really got
Bro, I have wanted to
far
do
with it.
voiceover for my entire life for anything. If you want to collab, I'm fucking in.
I mean, maybe someday we'll make it happen. Right now, I will say
Ariana,
right.
woo!
Right now, I'm
That's
very
fire.
focused on
Audrey Hepburn. This
writing.
is incredible. This is fucking incredible. This
Thank
is
you,
so
thank you.
good, dude. This is so fucking good.
But yeah, I have a newsletter that you can find through my Facebook page if you go to my author page. It's on MailerLite, so it's like subscribe.io/Bryan James Beck or something like that. But you can find it on my Facebook page.
That is.
So I'm always trying to send out
incredible.
stuff too. Thanks. And then my favorite one, I had to bring my favorite, is actually
Saya or Sia.
No, this is Cruella.
Oh, it's Cruella
from the Disney live action Cruella movie.
Well, I didn't. I've never seen it, so
Emma Stone, phenomenal. I just loved how much work I put into it. This is actually the print of it. It's not the original. The original has even more detail, of course.
Oh yes. I can absolutely see the Emma Stone. That's wild. Yeah. You see where I got the Saya though from the hair.
Like, yes, 100%. I actually haven't done a Saya. I probably should.
That's fucking wild, dude. This is really fucking cool.
Thank
I am
you.
super impressed with your artwork.
Thank you.
Because throughout my life, I have wanted to draw something like this and have never been able to, like, there's always something wrong with the geometry and shit looks weird and like, I can never get something right.
You got to keep at it.
But
it goes
I
back to that Think and Grow Rich.
No,
if you want to be an artist, you got to keep at it.
I don't want to be an artist. I have no
I will
intention.
tell you, I've done hundreds of portraits. The first 50, I won't let you look at because they're terrible.
Well, but I have no intention to be an artist. I just wanted to try it. But yeah, this is amazing.
Thank you.
Shading and the negative spaces, it's fucking wild.
I have put a lot of time into drawing.
Keeping symmetry on a face is just a fucking incredible undertaking.
One, it's really difficult. People don't understand how hard it is to draw people because we're always looking at people. We know exactly what a person should look like.
Right.
And especially celebrities, you know exactly what they look like. You've been seeing them a ton.
Yeah.
And so if you're off by one tiny little micrometer, all of a sudden the whole thing's done and it doesn't look like it. It looks weird. So it has to be exactly perfect on the spacing in the eyes, the spacing of the nose, the spacing of the mouth.
That's really fucking
Once you get into the clothes and the hair, it can be a little bit more loose. But
dude, that is really fucking cool.
So I also have my books.
Oh yeah. Let's show those.
So I got A Debt in Time.
Okay.
It's time traveling. James Manning's down here with his chest. These are the characters he meets on his journeys, the places he goes. Like I said, World War II.
That's
he also
cool
goes
as
to
shit.
The Battle of Bannockburn, which is actually Scotland independence.
Okay.
William Wallace, if you watch Braveheart.
Okay.
He was kind of involved in all that. Not in this battle specifically. This is after that.
That is a good looking book.
Yes. And then this is Journey to the New World, 1700s. He's joining some Irish passengers as they're trying to get across to the New World.
Very cool.
But there's pirates, there's battles, there's dogfights.
You can't go wrong. What more could you ask for?
There's heartbreak. It's
That's
all there.
Really fucking
It's
cool.
all there. And so my second book, A Debt Remembered, is, like I said, Ivy has inherited the chest from James, and she's reading Robert's story. And so Robert is going through time now, and he's got to go save 3 lives.
Bro,
she's reading all about it. She actually uncovers more than James ever knew. And so she uncovers a lot of secrets about Robert's story.
Wow.
And then we have Blood and Wine, which is the murder mystery. This one I didn't have a hardcover. I actually just sold the last one of that. Got to get some more.
That's cool as fuck.
And Blood and Wine, that's the Sierra Blanca. It's supposed to be, Rio Doso, like I said.
Yeah.
So it's very heavy forested. There's a big rainstorm that happens. It's wild. It's a intense
That's cool
ride.
as shit.
And then my newest
Pleasure
name,
Slave.
Pleasure Slave by BJ Masterson. As you can see, all of these have that reader favorites seal on them. The first 2, actually, I don't have copies of them yet, but they just recently received another seal. It's the Reader Views seal.
Dude, that's
And I've also
so
entered
cool.
all of them in contests. So, I mean, this time next year, I could be an award winner. it's hard to say.
That's amazing. Well, dude, this has been so much fun. Thank you for coming and telling me all these stories and showing me your
You got
incredible
it.
work. And I definitely look forward to reading all your stuff.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. Honestly, it's always fun to find somebody that's got a similar mentality.
I aspire to be as creative as you, so yes, I'll take that as a compliment.
Yes, you totally could. That ADHD takes you a long way.
All right. Well, any other things you want to promote or tell people where they can find you or anything else? Did you cover everything?
I mean, just search my name, Bryan James Beck, and you'll find everything I do. I mean, like I
Okay.
said, I got my Facebook, my TikTok. I do have a YouTube. That's a little harder to find, but that's by Scifiguysminecraft. That's spelled SCIFIGUY. Don't think you want to find that. That's really kind of more embarrassing stuff. But the TikTok's worth it. The Facebook's worth it. I'm always trying to keep connected to my fans. If you send me a message, I will reply to you. I love engaging with my readers.
Perfect. That's fucking awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for the time. Everybody go and read these books. Look at his art. The shit's amazing. Like, I don't think that seeing this on a video, you're going to see the justice of it. But yeah, definitely go give this man some attention because it's well worth it. And do the like, comment, subscribe thing, rate this, and tell your friends about it. Tell your friends about his artwork and his books, and let's get him some readership. All right. Well, thank you again for coming, and I appreciate your time. And maybe we'll have to do an update in a year or so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll probably have another dozen books.
Yes, I'm here for it. All right, Bryan. Thanks again.
Definitely. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, buddy. Cool as fuck.
That was fun. That was not what I expected, but it was definitely fun.
Well,
I don't know what I expected.
no. Hold on. You can't just say some shit like that.
No, it was great. No, it was great.
What did you expect?
I think, I don't know. I think the questions about my past, I didn't expect. Like my childhood and stuff.
Hey, I'm here
Honestly,
for
like I
everything.
said, I'm an open book. I'll tell you anything you want to know.
And that's exactly what I want people to hear the things that they wouldn't hear.
Right.
The things that you're not going to talk about at a party when somebody meets you.
Right.
Shit, that the deeper stuff.
The deeper dive.
Like, yes, I want to cover all of this as well, but I also want to hear more about you as a person and what your background was and stuff like that. So that's what I try to do with everybody. I want to hear all about you. I don't want to just hear a little about you.
Exactly.
And that's what I was talking about when I walked out of here. I'm like, this kid that I grew up with that I just had this conversation with before you, I fucking didn't know half the shit. And he was telling me this stuff and I'm like, bro, I didn't know you at all. This is fucking wild.
It's amazing. The people that we just kind of live near, that we don't really ask those deeper questions.
Yeah, dude.
So it is interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that was a pleasure, so thank you.
No, it was absolutely mine. That was amazing.
I'll have to share that everywhere I can.
Your art and your books. Okay, well, so on that note, you're going to be episode 1 of season 3.
Okay.
You're the opener for my next season. So
Nice.
I think the end of season 2 will come out. I'm doing weekly releases now, so they're going a little quicker, but I'm still a couple months out from the end of season 2 being released. So this is probably going to be
springtime sometime.
No, it's going to be probably midsummer before this
Oh, dang.
episode comes out. Yeah.
Okay.